awesome. It's quite common. I know a lot of people like it. I know a lot of fucking people like it. Hold on, I gotta take this.
It's
What do you
just
think
so
about entrepreneurs? You know what the fuck is up with this? Yeah, grandma? Yeah. Yeah, no. No. The biggest thing about all of this is the pseudo-intellectualism of these people. That's what bothers me the most, because there's so many good role models to choose from.
Your favorite car, bro?
The red one, the Aston Martin.
Tristan thinks well, guys. Critical thinking. I love it.
There really is. Throughout history, there's hundreds, dozens, maybe 10, okay? And I've got to be honest, Luke Belmar, Andrew Tater, Tristan Tate, these guys are just not anywhere near the top. They're very clearly doing what they do to enrich themselves.
I like the color. You like the color? Yeah. Yeah, I had mixed reviews on the color. Some people said they like it, some people said they don't like it, and I said, well, what color's your bugatti? Oh, f off then.
They don't care about their tribe or their community. They care about themselves, and like the two brothers care about each other, and they care about the people in their immediate life. But everything else is just a sham to get money. That's really what it is. It's really what it is. And it's an easy way to do it. And what they've figured out is an easy way to do it. And it's totally dog eat dog. As they say in DC, if you want a friend, get a dog. That's how it is in the red pill community. All these people are fucking idiots. Literally all of them.
Mention to me 5 people in your life right now that you give them a phone call and be like, yo, drop me a $250,000 wire.
Maybe you?
You need those people, right?
And by that, I mean, they're bad people. They're not idiots. They're smart. They're grifters. They're geniuses in terms of making money. But if you believe them and you think that following their advice is going to get you in any way further in your own life, it's not going to. You can find everything that they've said times 10 for very cheap or free if you have a library card or have a school. You go to school and have access to it. Just look it on the internet, dude. Look up anything and then PDF after, and you'll fucking find it for free. Okay? How do you think I learned how to make candy? By paying someone? No. You can get all of this information. Just look up transcendentalism and then see what real alpha males are fucking thinking about and doing, all right? Up there in Walden's Pond, building a fucking cabin in the woods. Or taking people baths in Deutschland in the middle 1800s. How about that? That's where you're gonna find your idols, brothers and sisters. Just kidding, all that's not true. My favorite profound thinker is Luke Belmar. His philosophy centers on a simplistic dichotomy. Winners win, losers lose.
What do I mean by winners win and losers lose? I get asked this question all the time. I want to share it with you today. Winners are people that everything that they do, all the habits that they instill are the habits of a winner. A winner isn't a final product. A winner is a lifestyle. A winner is a concurrent set of actions that lead you to a final destination.
It's deep and it's hard to grasp. It's a high level, nebulous, and sometimes granular concept. It's like my favorite ancient Chinese proverb, wieners piss and buttholes poop. This guy describes this as a lifestyle rather than a final product.
Winners are people that everything that they do, all the habits that they instill are the habits of a winner. A winner isn't a final product. A winner is a lifestyle. A winner is a concurrent set of actions that lead you to a final destination.
And it forms the cornerstone of his attempts to position himself as a profound thinker and mentor to millions of baby children boys.
Let me tell you one thing. You must not be focused on the next level of your career. You must be focused on the input, that which you can control. So let me ask you, what can you control today?
What does this mean? What are you saying? What the fuck are you saying? Give something to do. What is inspiring about this message? None of it. None of it's inspiring. None of it. What are you fucking saying, dude? Go make a YouTube channel and start posting videos every single day about something you love. That is more executable advice that will have a higher chance of making you rich than anything this guy's ever said, ever. Oh yeah, and also invest it intelligently. Speak to an expert. There you go. Boom. In 3 sentences. And sign up to my club or whatever the fuck. You just have to realize that haters gonna hate and ain'ters gonna ain't. And it's all about the belief, self-confidence. What's the difference between me and you? My ball sack is huge, and it looks like a fajita tortilla that's turning blue. What the fuck? Said the duck. He loves saying shit like, you want uphill results with downhill habits? It's not gonna work, dude. You gotta level up. You gotta study. Connect! So cringe.
You want uphill results with downhill habits. It's not gonna fucking work, dude. You gotta level up.
Nah. They're gonna say, this guy's a fucking cornball. I can't believe we let him into our secret society. This guy got lucky investing in shit coins. I can't believe we let him into our secret society, where we party with our eyes wide shut, and we dance around, and we share our genetics. We enact genocides across the globe. Epigenetics. What's it called? Is it epigenetics? What do you call it when you breed people out of existence? No. It's on the tip of my tongue. Eugenics. That's it. It's where we talk about eugenics. How do we get more people to look like us, the ultimate members of society? I'd rather just be my father than any of those people, to be honest. He seems pretty happy, and he's short and has no money, so, but he's happy. It's all fluff. They say so much, yet so little.
I think the reason I want to build Capital Club, and I appreciate you asking me that, is because I think I have a really good opportunity at rewiring the aspiring entrepreneur and the developed entrepreneur into an ecosystem that allows them to be authentic, that allows them to network with individuals that actually care about them, to find knowledge that's not based on profit, but it's based on experience, which is hard to find. And my reputation is unassailable. My reputation speaks for itself.
Sipping Johnny Walker in the war room. Look up Luke Belmar scam, and you can see a little bit about his reputation on YouTube. A lot of haters, but they just gonna hate, so it's not a big deal. One of my favorite things about Luke Belmar, a clip that I saw, the first clip that I saw, I think of this guy, where I was like, oh, this guy's awesome. This is so funny. Often shares anecdotes about his experiences with Tristan Tate, not Andrew Tate. Tristan Tate, the handsome one.
Dude, every guy that I want to get into the room with, I know as much as I can about them. Like, I'll go up and be like, yo, bro, how did and I'll drop something that he did last week. How was it? Oh, shit, this guy's paying attention.
And he portrays these interactions that he's had with Tristan as significant learning moments. And it seems like he wants to have sex with Tristan Tate or suck on his penis or something like that. I've never glazed another man that much in my whole life. It's kind of sad. It seems like this guy stalks people until he can connect with them and figure out how to manipulate them into liking him with his ripped pants.
I'll figure out something that he likes. So, for example, Tristan pulled up a video, his favorite whiskey, Johnny Walker. What do I do at duty free? Johnny Walker. That night, sipping the Johnny Walker in the war room by myself with him, chilling. Why? I studied, bro. I knew what he liked. That's it.
He studied, bro. Sipping Johnny Walker, Blue Label in the war room by myself with him, Tristan Tate. What does that mean? I'm not sure.
I was with Tristan Tate and we were drinking, right? We were drinking and like it was crazy. It was a crazy day, but I was in a situation whereby it was like, okay, like it was in the moment. I was in for it. I think that was the last time I drank, actually. It was a couple of years ago.
In the war room, guzzling Tristan Tate's
His favorite whiskey, Johnny Walker. What do I do at duty free? Fucking Johnny Walker. That night, sipping the fucking Johnny Walker in the war room by myself with
so stupid.
Bottled water, that's really good. You recommend? You can do Mountain Valley spring water. You can do Avian. Avian, I love Avian. Yeah, those are good ones. Good. Fiji? No. It's okay.
No. Like people are like, oh yeah, top G, all this shit, bro. You have no idea what it means to be the top G, bro. Like you don't understand what it is to be working at 5 in the morning, clocking in after clubbing all night and going to bed at 11. You don't know that shit. No, the guy opens up 10 chats. On that side, he's playing chess real time with 10 chats open at 5 in the morning, looking at crypto charts, looking at the news, listening to something. 5 in the morning, all people were. We haven't met. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. What do you guys do? Full-time trading. Full-time trading? Yeah. What markets? Forex and commodities. Lovely. Where's my commodity? All right, there you go. Connect. All right. Doesn't matter. Connect. Doesn't matter. Connect. Interact with each other, boys. Come on. For example, Tristan Tate pulled up a video, his favorite whiskey, Johnny Walker. What do I do at duty free? Johnny Walker. That night,
sipping Johnny Walker with him, touching his stroking his mushroom. That night, Johnny Walker sipping it with him. The teachings of these people at this point in my life are funny. I think they're very funny because it's not going to work. It's the same as most other motivational speakers. It can help you get out of maybe a rut or something along those lines. But these are not people you should be idolizing. It's self-help nonsense.
One of the basic premises of cognitive behavioral therapy is that our thoughts determine our moods and emotions and how we feel. And if we can change our thoughts, change the way we think, then we'll also change the way we feel.
But it's spun into a way that's supposed to make you feel like you could become a billionaire by thinking positively instead of just feeling slightly better.
We have Grand Theft Auto 6 on the way. Dude, I'm going to be playing the out of that game. You know why? Because people are going to be building and doing business on that thing for the next 10 years. Do you want to make money? Get on Grand Theft Auto and get good. They're about to roll out some digital currency feature. If they don't, be foolish of them. But imagine now you have a digital currency attached to a game like Grand Theft Auto.
Like these things work. These ideas, they work to make you feel slightly better. Like 5% better, literally that much better. But It's not going to make you make any money. It's all nonsense. You have to actually work. You have to actually be disciplined. You have to actually do things and commit to things and follow through and be intrinsically motivated. If there was some kind of person who could get you to be intrinsically motivated, that person would be a valuable person. And those people exist around you, actually. You just have to decide to allow them to intrinsically motivate you. You have to find someone you love that you want to work for to make their life better or whatever. All of that is more valuable than anything that these freaks have ever said. Genuinely, it really is. Luke preaches with zero originality, zero depth. It's the same shit over and over and over and over again. He doesn't even look wise. He's just a child. I would rather listen to this guy, Sad Guru.
Maybe physically, they'll feel a little weak. They will weaken their commitment to success. Maybe their emotions slosh around a little bit. They will weaken their commitment to success. This is very important right now.
I'd rather listen to most other people, in all honesty. He's a baby-faced boy who probably looks in a mirror when he jacks off. He loves Tristan Tate, which, cool, I get it. At least Tristan Tate looks like an alpha male and says jokes sometimes. This guy's just like Adderall, beat poetry, fucking what is going on? How? Dude, you just don't get it. I reject traditional education. That's what's different between you and me, is I'm very uneducated and extremely lucky. Damn, if only I knew. Anyways, loving the facades lately, alpha males. Let's keep them coming. If you guys enjoyed, press the like button down below. Go to the second channel, Oompa TV, and the third channel, Game Dev channel, Oompy, where I've been making game dev. I've actually been scamming. A couple weeks ago, I made a video critical of the Beast games. A couple weeks before that, I sat down with Jimothy. I sat on his lap. I didn't sit on his lap. That's a lie. Whatever the case may be, we talked about the Beast games in that video. And since then, the show has released and there has been a lot of controversy surrounding it. A lot of articles, a lot of claims, a lot of allegations. And after that, I reached out to just under 30 contestants from the Beast games and sat down with 12. Initially, a ton of people didn't want to talk. I had 5 or 10 hard no's within an hour of sitting out DMs. And eventually some really awesome people came forward and I got to talk to them. So I asked them about everything. What did they think about the allegations, the class action lawsuit? Would they be willing to do it again? Were they tortured for entertainment? Some of them talked some shit and some of them were really awesome. We didn't really focus on Jimothy at all during this. I asked people about the games and how they were treated and how they felt, and if headlines like these are legit from their perspective. You know, the perspective of the people actually there, not Jimmy and not me. Okay? I like this video. This is a fun one to make. What is your name and your Beast Games number and a little bit about yourself and just how are you doing?
My name is Cornelia. I was contestant 744.
So my name is Rose. I actually I have a YouTube channel, a small YouTube channel, a few thousand subscribers. In Beast Games, I was eliminated on the red team.
I'm sorry, I hung up on you twice because I couldn't figure out what I was doing.
Oh, no worries. That's not a big deal at all.
All right, well, this may come as a shock to you, but I do not have a Beast Games number.
Interesting. You're repping the Beast Games merch.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I had to. I was like, who's gonna interview me? I might as well.
Yeah.
I can attest to the fact that, like, just being eliminated on the red team, I'm in a bunch of group chats and I already feel like isolated.
What's up? What's up?
Where are you based out of?
New Jersey.
New Jersey? Okay, how is it? You seen any drones lately?
Nah, I haven't seen anything. Do my own thing, you know.
I like that. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Because I had to self-eliminate in Vegas.
Okay. You made the cooking video, right?
Yep, that was me.
That's cool. That's cool. Was the food good?
Like on the show?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I've been doing good for months going into it, and sure enough, man, had to happen while I was there. Sciatic nerve just nailed me.
Well, what do you do? What is your profession? What are you up to?
Well, I retired from being a personal trainer. I was a personal trainer for almost like 20 years or so. So I got back into like acting. So I do acting, voiceovers full time, and then I do like real estate.
Dude, I'm chilling. What's your name? So I'll call you Rufus.
My name's Caleb.
Okay, cool. I'm Evan. Nice to meet you, Caleb.
Nice to meet you, man.
Especially when, like, the articles started coming out. Like, they were saying, like, oh, all the red team people are the people that are, like, you know, talking shit about everything.
Okay, so my name is Cynthia Flores. I go by Sid Coswell on the show. And my number is 836.
Yeah, so I'm Jalen Blunt. I Auditioned for Beast Games probably 2 months before I got the official yes.
There's a sense of responsibility about me that I had to make a decision, and I knew we were getting ready to go into a challenge, and I knew the condition I was in. I was like, if I hurt myself, that's bad enough, but if I hurt somebody else because I'm not responsible enough to say I shouldn't be doing something like this, there's no way I could live with myself. So I had to make that decision to take myself out of the game at that point. So there you go.
My name is Leland Winfrey. I'm a creative producer. I specialize in larger-than-life projects with some of the world's top YouTubers.
I'm sorry, I'm saying too much already.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Keep spitting your truth. Okay, we'll start with the questions. Did you have fun?
For sure. Yes, I had a lot of fun.
Okay.
I had a blast.
Cool.
Total blast.
The answers are going to vary based off of Vegas or Canada,
Of
but
course.
overall, yes, I would say yes, it was fun.
Canada was substantially better.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it. Did you win a lot of money, or did you make a bunch of friends, or what did you really enjoy about it?
I did not make a lot of money. I challenged myself in more than just a physical way, but also in an emotional way, and met a lot of very kind people. When you're deprived of good food, sleep, your comforts, it's hard sometimes just to go day to day. And I know for some folks, it's what put them out. I knew, it's not just a physical challenge. You got to keep your brain calm, or else you're not going to last.
Right.
But it was magical too. It really was.
I've heard from some people and some others not so much. Was there any difficulty in getting like medications, or I don't know if you've seen the headlines of people talking about the allegations of that. What was your experience in regard to that?
I needed medication, but I think once again, the advantage that I had was because I had done this before. So I had kept with me, 3 or 4 days of medication.
Okay.
So I knew there'd be 2,000 people. I knew getting my medication, maybe when I needed it, would be difficult. So I just didn't want that to be an issue for me. I know that it was for some folks. And I know that some of it's been exaggerated, but some of it was true. I mean, there were just gaps of time that you could get your medication, and there were only a small number of people that were actually able to give people like psychotic medication.
Okay. You've mentioned the psychological toll a little bit, like part of the game, part of the challenge is the psychological toll. Has it affected your mental state any after or before? Did you strengthen because of it? How do you view that aspect of the Beast Games, the psychological toll?
That's interesting. I did not walk away feeling like I better go see a mental health counselor.
Okay.
I walked away saying, thank God I've been given the temperament that I have and the life experience. I'm 72, so I was the oldest one that went to the city. I mean, I'm a trained psychologist.
Okay, so, interesting.
So a lot of my time in the city was actually talking to folks, listening to folks. And so I walked away feeling very fulfilled, to be honest.
Okay.
Wished I had the, physical strength to do better. But I had a lot of people helping me along, to be honest with you.
Did you notice other people weren't handling it as well as maybe you did?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not sure if it wasn't really the Beast Games that was troublesome for folks. When you strip people of their computers and their cell phones and their comforts, the comforts of people, the comforts of their home, the comforts of their food choices, people become raw. And what I experienced from those other folks were that they also become really honest with things that are going on in their lives that are troublesome.
Right.
Or things that they're just realizing are really gifts, real gifts that they have in their lives that they hadn't really stopped to appreciate.
Okay.
So, I mean, there was a time, I'm listening to folks, a lot of the day and talking with folks. And, there was a time that I walked away and went back to my cabin and I realized that, wow, I was just overwhelmed and I just cried for about a half an hour. And there were a lot of tears, but a lot of tears of joy too, and a lot of tears of just sort of feeling reawakened, if you understand that.
Yeah, just
It's like,
just learning about a lot of people that you're all kind of in the same sort of situation with, camaraderie.
I mean, there's so many differences in all of us. You know, some folks were struggling because they didn't have relationships with their kids. Some folks were struggling because they couldn't have kids. You know, I mean, we were talking day and night, person to person.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a fascinating psychological experiment, for sure.
You seem to have had a very positive experience. I'm not sure if you've heard about the lawsuit. There's a lot of people who didn't have a positive experience. Have you heard about that? What do you think about the class action lawsuit?
What do I think? I think that in some cases there's validity, and I didn't see anybody injured, but my understanding is people actually were injured. So if they feel that something could have been done to prevent that from happening, and they feel a lawsuit's the right way, it seems to me that's a little extreme unless they've tried other avenues. You know, we signed paperwork that said, really, we are willing to die to be in this competition.
That's awesome.
So when somebody breaks a shoulder, you know, because they're doing something that's strenuous because they want to go to the next level, well, that's on them. Come on. You signed your life away when you say, I'm willing to die for you, Jimmy. So it's like, you know, come on, guys.
Yeah.
It was a really competitive group of people.
As a professional, you're a professional, you know, you understand people's mental healths. Where do you think that responsibility lies? Or if you had any sort of criticisms, you know, really friendly, critical, building critiques from what you learned, and if you intend on, you know, going to the next event, what do you think would do well for them to know in regard to all that?
Well, first off, you're talking about adults over 18.
Yeah.
So I think every single adult should be responsible for their own medication. I think it's wise to have a nurse and a doctor on call because, you know, people can get sick, but people can also tend to have seizures under certain conditions. So I think it's really important to have at least a doctor, you know, on site. I shouldn't say on call, but on site. There's no reason why people over 18 can't handle their own medication. And if it means, you know, everybody has a clear bag with their medication in it, but that's something that you carry around with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were given pants that had lots and lots of pockets.
Oh.
There's actually no reason why you couldn't have your own medication.
Okay.
And it could be that they say we all have to have the same kind of containers. Well, that's okay too. I don't know, maybe drawers someplace, you know, like you'd have drawers for everybody with their number on it. So that's where your medication is that you may need, that you may not want to carry with you all the time, but like an inhaler that you may need but don't need every day. But I think that would take care of that issue, which seems to be, from my understanding, the biggest issue.
Okay, I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and then underwear.
Yeah.
Underwear. You know, clean underwear is sort of important.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd be nervous if I didn't have the things, like I would feel uncomfortable if I didn't have like my daily sort of the things that keep me going, right? If I didn't have them on my person.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I feel like that definitely should have, you know, been the path from the very beginning. But I really appreciate your time. Is there anything you want to shout out or let anybody know in regard to the Beast Games? Is there any message you have?
My message comes because of my age. So my message is, if you're older, get off the couch. Get yourself challenged in some way or another. You're not going to kill yourself. You can always walk away from these challenges. But you need to do it. You need to do it. And if you've got grandkids, you want to be a hero, do it.
That's awesome.
Because grandkids think, you know, you just sit around in your rocking chair all day long. And if they see you on a Mr. Beast challenge or on a 4 Fun Guys challenge, they think you're pretty cool. So it gives you a lot of clout. So get off the couch if you're older. Get out there. Do it.
Were the allegations of there being inadequate food, long wait times, and sort of like unsafe environments, from your perspective, were those things valid in any way? How do you feel about those?
Well, for me, like I would just say I'm looking at the experience in its entirety because I know a lot of contestants were only in a small portion of the competition, which was Las Vegas. So from my perspective, things were organized as best as possibly could. We were housed. We were given vouchers to eat twice, sometimes 3 times a day, depending on when we came in or our flights came in. So once we arrived in Vegas, we were given the information of, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get you checked in. We're going to get you in your room. These are the things you can and cannot do. We will provide meals. And when we came down for meals, if it was not feasible or things weren't functioning well, because let's just be honest, how many people have wrangled 2,000 people before? So Murphy's Law is what can go wrong will go wrong. So some things did go wrong, meaning that sometimes our card wouldn't work for getting food, but there was a person on their beat or on their station that was there, you know, giving us information and saying that we can use the card that they had in their hand physically. So we were able to eat. We were able to take our food back up to our hotel rooms. The hotel rooms that were provided were very, very nice. We were able to you know, bring our religious items if we wanted to pray and do things, but we were able to do what we needed to do, get food. I think other contestants were very understanding. So if there's certain things that people couldn't eat, people switched off. So I like protein, so I got some boiled eggs from people that didn't like boiled eggs, and I hated oatmeal, so I gave my oatmeal away. So I don't think it was a big deal for me. I thought that was a way to weed out the people that just couldn't handle competition, because once again, we signed off in the beginning on everything that was going to be happening, and we signed off that we agreed to those conditions, and those conditions were what they were.
You're mentioning you know, you signed some kind of waiver, I assume, beforehand. That was accurate to what actually played out in the events?
Well, I can only speak for myself.
Right.
I know for a fact that there were some people that had medication needs and they weren't able to necessarily get them because there was a holdup. So I can't speak on that personally because I didn't have any medication. So for me, I was fine. You know, it didn't really bother me. I had some supplements, but it wasn't a do or die. So I can't negate those things happening, but it didn't happen to me. I can only speak for myself.
Of course. Did you witness any of those things? That is one of the bigger concerns. You did witness.
Yeah, I witnessed that. So people were trying to get in line for, you know, to get administered their things, and they were either delayed or they would have to go and get them because there was so many people. So they would just go to the nurse's station, and I went to the nurse's station just to get some chapstick. I was serviced, but when I was there getting my chapstick, there were people getting their medications, and they would get like a banana. They would get extra food or something that we weren't provided because we weren't to receive any medication. So they would get some sort of banana and a drink that they would give them and give them their medication. But it was more so they had to open their mouth and say they needed it because I think they were just inundated with so many people that they didn't have a schedule and they couldn't actually go up to each person because they were hard to find. Like, you know, thousands of people and you have to find their number, find their name, and go and find where they are in the midst of a whole auditorium on the outside. So people had to kind of open their mouth and speak up for themselves and advocate for themselves to get the things that they needed.
Okay. Did you witness any sort of like medical emergencies or go ahead?
I think people had some issues, medical issues to begin with. So pre-existing conditions in a situation where you're excitable, you're out of your environment, you're out of your home environment, and also you're getting fed meals at specific times that are not of your own choosing, will always put people that have pre-existing medical conditions in a state of emergency. So some people did have seizures and things of that nature, and medical staff were there to handle it. But a lot of times I'll just be honest, it freaked a lot of the other contestants out because, you know, they were there witnessing it before a person could actually get to a medical person or staff could actually get to that person and help them. It is just natural to if you're not a medical professional to panic or freak out when someone's having a seizure. I think the biggest issue was that, you know, some of the contestants thought that, you know, the medical attention could have been a little bit faster, I would just say, like, approach the situation and be there immediately when people need medical attention. So I will speak on that because I did witness that. But once again, these people that had pre-existing conditions knew beforehand their medical conditions and knew beforehand the conditions may not be so feasible for people that have medical concerns. So I see it from both angles.
I see what you're saying. Beyond that, like we already talked about the food a bit, the medical stuff, the undergarments. I mean, all those things kind of like tie in. You know, it's It's inconvenient, and it's a system that's dealing with a lot of people, and it's bound to either improve or, you know, come apart. And it seems like that improved over time, just across the board, from like what you're saying. I mean, right?
Yeah, it did, and I think that a lot of people, we caught wind of things that were happening, and we just thought that a lot of it outside of people that had specific medical conditions were being dramatic. They were looking for. You have to realize with television, this industry.
Yeah.
If, like, you know, I'm relatively unknown. No one. I'm not a household name. So a lot of people are looking for a come up, whether that's clout, attention, or some sort of monetary compensation. And if you have none of those things in mind and you're just going in wholeheartedly trying to go into a competition, have an experience, and look at the bright side of things, you see things a whole different perspective. I was there, and if I had like a notepad and just mark down how many people complained over the most mundane things, that's the nature of people. They're gravitating toward negativity because they didn't see the positive. And a lot of those people eliminate themselves because that was just their personality. People are going to people. You cannot please everyone. And granted, like I said, that we're not trying to negate or take away from people that had emergencies and medical conditions.
Definitely.
But we're just talking about regular old people that were in the game, no medical conditions, and just complaints over complaints over complaints. But one thing I will say, Caleb, it's easy to come after the fact and have hindsight of 2020 to make a complaint publicly. But did you do that when you were right there, then and there, to go up to people and say what you need and vindicate for yourself and advocate for yourself? If you didn't do that, I really don't have the respect for you after the fact when you go public with something.
Well, I really appreciate your time. That's you're very well spoken. I appreciate the rational perspective. It is very good to see some unbiased, perspective from the show. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything you want to shout out, or what do you want to let the people who are watching my video know?
Well, I just want to let the people watching your video know, hey, hello, my name is Mia. I just really had an overall great experience, the highs and lows of the game. I appreciate the production because they worked very hard, and they weren't always in the know of everything that was going on. I appreciate the camera people because these people don't get credit. And also I appreciate the other contestants that, helped me to see things in a different perspective and motivate me through the game. And Caleb, I just want to say I appreciate you to do the research and get the people that were actually there, their opinion and their mindset about the game. So I just want to say thank you to everybody, and follow my journey and follow me at Mia State.
Thank you so much, Mia. Incredible. I really appreciate your time. Did you feel safe? I mean, you weren't there for a terribly long time. Did you, for the time you were there, did you feel safe?
See, the thing about that is, like, the moment that I got there, like, even before the game even started, I wouldn't say that I felt in danger, but I felt it was disorganization, right? It seemed clear to me that no one had ever done this sort of thing before with 2,000 contestants, and there was a reason that no one had ever done it before, right? I don't know if anyone told you this. What I had heard is that the rope tied around somebody's neck. Did anyone say that?
No, I didn't hear any. I didn't hear any.
Okay, so this is gonna be new to you. So
okay.
I am on the red team, right? We're pulling this rope. And granted, the reason I'm on the red team is because, I'm an obese woman, and the challenge is essentially, everybody's rushing to get jerseys, right? And they were saying, oh, all the men go to the front, all the women go to the back. And so obviously, when that is the challenge, to run to get a jersey, I'm not gonna be able to do that, which is whatever, right? But the problem is when we pull this rope, right? We're pulling on the rope, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of the challenge, it goes from this pulling motion to everybody is just stuck, not knowing what they're doing. And so when I stopped, I asked this girl next to me, like, hey, what's going on? Like, why did we do so badly? Why did everyone stop pulling? And she says to me that the rope went around somebody's neck. And I was like, what? And so I go home and I look it up online, and I see a news article saying the same thing. And I'm like, huh? And in the news article, they say like crazy things, like that production was telling them to keep pulling even though people were falling and the rope went around somebody's neck. Like, I didn't see this myself, right? It's a large stadium. There's 400 people pulling this rope. And the people at the front of the line don't have communication with the people in the back of the line.
Right.
But even though there's no communication, I can't confirm it. But I just remember hearing that and just like being so confused. Like, I don't know. Like, I would just like to see the footage. Yeah.
I heard about a seizure, but I have yet to hear the The rope around the neck. That's a new one.
Apparently, what I'm being told is like people stopped pulling the rope because they were trying to help people who fell, or because they were helping the girl who the rope tied around her neck. And it's like, that's why we lost the challenge. I mean, like I said, I would need to see the footage because I can't know for sure. But if this is true at all, and I'm just like, why didn't they just stop and then refilm the challenge once everything was sorted out? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Right. So then the rope was around the neck, and that's what prevented that. That's why you guys stopped. Your team stopped.
That is what I believe. If I see footage that shows a different story, then I'll change my mind.
Interesting. Yeah, I need more context. So, and that's like the red team in the very beginning. That's which challenge was that?
First challenge.
First challenge.
Pulling the rope. First challenge. Like, we literally just go into the stadium, we get into our lines, and that's the first thing that happens. It takes like literally 15 seconds, and you can even see in the footage, like, we're like way behind everybody else. And I could just tell that something was off. It just did not feel like we were pulling. And I was like, what is going on? And that's why, like, when I was watching the interview that you did with him, he was talking about like, oh, do you think we'd really keep filming? And I was like, wait, but what about with the rope situation? I'm like, listen, I understand that maybe he just didn't see it, right? There's so many people in that stadium. It's entirely conceivable that he wasn't aware of this, but clearly there were some people that were. So I have to imagine, again, maybe he can debunk this with footage, and that would make me feel better about all this. But it's something that's been on my mind ever since Vegas, and it's just something I want answers for.
Was there a positive event that you can think of that did you meet anybody you enjoyed? You know, what did you take away from it that was positive?
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, I'm not here to like shit on Mr. Beast. Like, I was a fan of Mr. Beast going into this, right? I think one of the best things about this whole experience was like, we had no social media. And what that led to was like 8 to 12 hours where we literally just talked to people. We met a bunch of new people. People were making friends, and we all just like bonded over this collective experience. And I feel like that is so cool. And just having stuff like that in general, like, that's easily the best part of this whole thing. You know, not the money, not the clout, not any of that. Just like meeting people and getting to disconnect from like all this other stuff going on in real life or social media for like a day. Or for me, it was a day. Actually, technically 4 days. But one day that I was like in the stadium, you know? I mean, it's a fun experience. Despite all of like the chaos and all the like craziness and the messiness that happened, I still like met a lot of people, a lot of cool new friends from this whole thing. And I feel like that alone makes it worth it.
What do you think just in general of the show? Do you think it's like torturing people for entertainment, or you think there's ethical issues? You think it's a fun game show?
One of the things I have an issue with is all the self-sacrifice challenges. Like, a lot of people are getting eliminated for something that's not a fault of their own. And I just don't think that that's like fair to everybody who spent so much of their time to do something like this. Another thing that I want to say, and I'm making my own video where I talk about everything more in detail.
Yeah.
The one challenge that he does where there's like 4 people that they hire as team captains, right? And they all have to, you know, aren't they going to take the $1 million?
Right.
From what I heard, the reason that those 4 people were picked is because they weren't motivated by money, which basically means that they had money going in. Now, in my video, I go into each of them individually, and obviously it's speculation. I can't know for sure, but based on the things that I've heard, like, one of them is a pro wrestler and her husband's like the bounty hunter for the Stokes twins. One of them like worked with A-list celebrities, and I was told has enough money in the bank that $1 million is not life-changing. One of them claimed to be homeless, but lives in a 6-figure car. And the other one is like a previous Mr. Beast contestant. So like, you think about that, and it's like, okay, well, it kind of makes sense why they were chosen to be like the leaders for their teams and why they didn't take the money. I mean, like I said, it's not like a big deal. I don't know. But to me, I kind of look at the show a little differently now.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed as well, is the self-sacrifice challenges. You're kind of rewarding people for having a lack of integrity in a sense. It's like you're eliminating people. And that's, a lot of people have mentioned that it's like, man, next time I'm not going to have any integrity. I'm going to be an ass. I mean, is there anything else you want to say or shout out, or you think there's anything we missed?
Yeah, so I just wrote down a few notes. Do you mind if I just go over these real quick?
Yeah, sure.
First thing I want to say is, like, I do worry that, like, after this comes out, they're going to, like, start gossiping on me in, like, the group chats and, like, socially isolate me. I think I briefly mentioned that. Also, people want to talk about, like, oh, this didn't happen. These people are lying. Like, the guy microwaves on YouTube. Like, come on. Like, is it really that hard to believe that, you know, maybe this 2,000 show event could have like a few injuries in there, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's like an evil person. Like, obviously, I think things improved in Toronto, right? And I think it's important to acknowledge that, like, yeah, it did get better, right? But at the same time, like, that doesn't mean you just dismiss the stories of the people that this happened to.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like that's good. I feel like I covered a lot in like a short amount of time.
I think you'd be surprised. I don't think you're going to be isolated. I mean, I hope not, at least. A lot of, pretty much everybody has said the same sort of things that you're saying. Yeah, it's not like, you know, it's not like this air of, you know, negativity or criticism. You were eliminated early, and you don't believe that, you know, it was that fair. There's people who lasted longer and they were eliminated. They don't believe it's fair. There's not really a difference. I mean, from what I can see, I think a lot of the criticism is totally valid, and I think the showrunners, you know, if they take a lot of it, it'll be a better show next time. And having people like you and a lot of the people that I've talked to as well, I think it'll just improve all of it. The experience of the players.
I hope so.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, it's cool though. I'm really glad that you shared your time with me.
Of course.
And,
thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you feel safe, etc., when you were in Vegas? Did you feel like you were taken well care of, or do you have any like criticism that you would give to the staff and team there and Mr. Beast, etc.?
So Vegas was pretty nutty, I will say.